God sends the storm of purification. You might be going through a storm in your everyday life, and you could look at the world, and the world as a whole, the collective as a whole, is going through a storm. And this is a purification process. There is a cleansing energy to the storm. So when a storm comes rolling through, as it did here last night, it kind of cleanses the energy, cleanses the air, the energy of the area. It cleanses the energy from within us. It starts to shake things up inside of us. The micro and the macrocosm. Each and every one of us will go through this storm, and humanity, the collective as a whole, is going through this storm, and it's happening right now. If you're new to the channel, I'm Michael. I discuss the ascension journey, and I make it relevant for everyday life people. And today we're discussing the power of the storm that God sends into our everyday lives. So when you are going about your journey, you tend to slip into the subconscious mind and you run off of subconscious programs. And this is just the way of life. And when you do this, all of a sudden, you're becoming a sleepwalker and you're not paying attention. So what the storm does is it takes you out of the subconscious mind and it puts you into the conscious mind. Oh yeah, it's very difficult. When you think about your daily life, you might do the same thing for work 5 days a week. You have the same routines and rituals, and you just keep going about your life. So what the storm does, the first and very important thing, is it takes you out of the subconscious mind and now it puts you into the conscious mind. You are awake, you're aware of your surroundings. The storm rolled through yesterday, and all of a sudden, you're very aware. You're listening to the sounds, you're on high alert. All of your senses have leveled up. And that's what we need, because people need to start paying attention. You might be getting this message, and you might be awake and aware, and you look around and you say, there's a lot of people that are not paying attention. They're not addressing certain things. But this is the way of life as we do slip into the subconscious. So the storm comes rolling in. And when the storm comes rolling in, now people begin to pay attention. The howling last night, the trees shaking around, right? Your nerves, you get very, very heightened. But God keeps you protected through the storm. Okay, so and it also brings out community when the storm comes rolling in, right? All of a sudden, community starts to come out. Are you okay? You might get messages from your friends. Your neighbors come knocking on your door. You're checking out to see if everyone's okay. So it does bring community. All right. So you might witness that as well. So the more storms, the more societal storms that we see, it actually brings out a lot of community. I lived through a major storm years ago. It was called Hurricane Sandy, and the amount of community that it brought out, and people helping each other, and work kind of stopped for a little bit, and it was all of the community coming together. The details, all of a sudden, the details of your surroundings. Oh, you didn't notice these things. Now you're really paying. Oh, where's that tree? How far is this? You start looking at all the different things. You might need to take some time, how to go outside, put the furniture away, get rid of things that are, could fly around, and cause more destruction. So now it takes a little extra time out of your day, a little extra time for care, a little extra time to observe the surroundings. That's what the storm does. And one of the things that is the focus of the storm, or the main idea of the storm, is water. And water is very powerful. And water could be in all three forms. You might have heard this phrase, be the water. The water has to flow. And not only can the water flow as it's running down the stream, and a lot of you know the water could fit into any type of crack or crevice. It just knows where to go. But not only that, water could be in all three forms, solid, liquid, and gas. And when the storm comes rolling in, right, that water can come in as three forms, right? You have the gaseous state of the clouds, right? It's swirling around. The rain, the water is falling down, and sometimes it could fall as hail as well. You get the hailstones. So the water can be in a solid, a liquid, and a gas. It's important to be the water so that you could take up any shape. You could be very diverse. That's what we need. We are God's storm. The storm is shaking things up. And just how the storm kind of purifies the area, I'll give you this example. I grew up in Brooklyn, and we had a hurricane come through years ago. And not too far from Brooklyn, there's a place called Elizabeth, New Jersey. And some people might be familiar with it. And there's all these factories, and it's known for its pollution, right? All these factories pumping up all the smog in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And then the storm came through, and people were saying, oh, for the first time, it's all clear. It's all clear. That's what this storm is doing. It's cleaning it out. Sometimes we think the storm, is a bad thing, but it could be a good thing. It's taking all the pollution out of the air. It sucks it up, sweeps it away, and then you have a clean sky, clean slate. Well, sometimes your area might desperately need water, and you can't, or the amount on a daily basis is not enough to replenish the area. You might need a storm to come through, to dump all the water to actually replenish so that all the vegetation can grow. Because a regular rainstorm is not enough to feed all of the vegetation in the area. The micro and the macrocosm. You might go through a storm in your everyday life. It will be personal to you. And God knows how to shake you up, kid. Yeah, God knows how to shake you up. And the humanity as a whole, the collective as a whole, is being shook up. God knows exactly what to take. God knows exactly all the little ways, all the little dominoes. It's dominoes. When I look at my life, I say, if this didn't happen and that didn't happen, so we're seeing that. Sometimes you might see it on the TV. You see events play out on the TV. You see all these things, and you say, wow, one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden the dominoes start falling. God has sent a storm to purify the earth. So just like if you live through a storm, I lived through one last night, and the winds are howling, and really, certain, and sometimes calls you back to praying, calls you back to God, and that's what society needs. Seriously though, that's what society needs. God, we need to get back to God. So many people are concerned with matrix things. But what we're going to realize is that we are the ones that we've been waiting for. Oh, yeah. We are the matrix busters. We are here to dismantle the matrix. when you live your life, you know, when a storm comes rolling through, it doesn't matter how much money you have. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about your Lamborghini. It doesn't matter about your prestige. Everyone is the same when the storm comes rolling through. Life in this world is going through a storm right now. Realize that we're all the same. And the only way out is having that connection to God. Have the inexhaustible belief in yourself. And keep moving forward through the storm. Don't turn back. I know it's scary out there. We have laser focus, and we are taking over. And so it is. If you find this message interesting and you would like to learn more about our reality in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration, why don't you click subscribe, give the video a like so it becomes visible to more people, and please share with one other person, because when we all share with one other person, we will rapidly grow our 5D community. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Did you live through the storm last night? And have you lived through a storm at any point in your life? And did you go through a personal storm? So maybe not, a hurricane, but maybe you lived through an actual storm in your life. And all of a sudden, all these people came out of nowhere. All of these situations came out of nowhere. And you had to move forward alone. But you had God with you. And you had to overcome all these obstacles. But that obstacle, Light Warrior, that obstacle was the way. And now we're moving forward. And now you know where to go. You know the ins and outs, you know the nooks and crannies, just like the water. Go back to the beginning of the lesson. You go through the nooks and crannies. You know everything. That's what God put within you. We're growing like never before. We have Facebook, TikTok, and Patreon. Links are in the descriptions. Utilize the hashtag #OurEverydayLives. And why don't you share this video so that others can get this message of encouragement? Know that you have the power of the storm to purify the world. I love each and every one of you. I'm the defender of our everyday lives. No matter what comes your way, Light Warriors, just keep going. I love you all.